everybody. Today I'm going to tell you all about my journey as a psychologist, how did I start my own firm, and my entire journey of taking my first session to having 100 clients per month. So let's go and begin this journey. My name is Vandana and I am the founder of Psychologist Counselling Center. Actually, I was not even in the field of psychology for a very long time. After I finished my 10th standard, I was very confused because back in school, we were only taught or told a lot about science as a field. And I was not really good at chemistry, so I was a little uncertain whether I should take up this field or not. And then I got to know about commerce, the safe option, and like every other commerce student who begins their journey in 11th standard, I also wanted to become a CA. And after my 12th grade, I got very good score. I applied to Christ University, and in the interview over there, the interviewer asked me one question. After all the technical rounds, we have these micro presentations that we need to do. So in that, the question that they asked me was, what book would you write about if you were an author? So I told the interviewer that I would write a book on how people think and why they think in a certain manner. The interviewer told me that you should actually take up humanities. Why are you doing commerce? So back then, since I wanted to really do BCom honors, I told that no, it's just a passion for me. I would love to be in the field of finance. And many times when I speak to people as well, they used to open up to me very easily. And many told me that you should be a psychologist. I used to always wonder what is it about me that made them feel like they should talk to me or they felt that I should be a psychologist. And like any other student in college, I too went through the phase of falling in love and having my heart broken. It was quite sudden and I was very low and lost. At that point of time, I went to sound therapy. So in the sound therapy session, I don't know what it was, whether it was the vibration or that I was listening to my heartbeat or listening to what I was thinking, I broke down. And I realized that finance is something that I didn't want to do as a profession. So I decided that I wanted to do something in the field of psychology. So much that I thought that I would even quit my BCom. I'd finished my first year almost. And a couple of my friends told me that, no, I think we'll figure out some other way. Are you sure that you want to do this career switch? Because there was no much money in the field of psychology and the base salary was somewhere from 15,000 to 20,000. So what I did was, I thought that, okay, let me not leave my BCom, and I started to do my BA in psychology from IGNOU. It was really fun and tough because I had to balance my BCom and at the same time do BA. Nevertheless, I did my BA along with BCom. And since I was not from the field of psychology, I wanted to do everything that gave me the exposure to the field of psychology. So I did diploma in counseling. And then finally, I got an opportunity to do my master's in the field of clinical psychology at Amity University. Over there, the interviewer asked me, you did your BCom, now why do you want to do a master's in clinical psychology? So I said to the interviewer, psychology is the base for most of the professions. So I wanted to know more about the base before I do or think about other professions. The interviewer laughed at me and I was so excited and happy because I was doing something finally that I've been waiting for. So I started my master's in clinical psychology away from home for the first time, and it was absolutely amazing. I got to work with doctors. I really enjoyed interning under psychiatrists and finally understood why depression happens, or what is schizophrenia, or how does BPD affect a person, and not just the person but even their caregivers. An entire way in which we take care of patients who go through mental health concerns. I really enjoyed my time doing my master's. And in 2020, when I was in my final year, of my master's, I started a page on Instagram, and that page was called as Psychoflix. And the reason behind that name is that every day a person gets to know a little bit about psychology while they're having breakfast, hence the name Psychoflix. And I still remember the first post that I put was something which was not of a popular opinion, which was on how gaming can help you to reduce your stress. And the journey was quite amazing, because initially I had only 50 followers and I was waiting when it will become 100 followers, because back then you could only see the insights if you have 100 followers. So I told my friends, my family, my classmates, everybody to follow my page. And I was very consistent. I used to ensure that I read research papers, read a lot of things about psychology, make it as a post and put it up. So after graduation, first of all, in this field, the placements are very less. And even if there's a placement, there's only 1 or 2 companies that come, and the competition is pretty high. And since I did my post-graduation in Delhi, so most of the companies that came were placing the students in Delhi. And the salary was so less, just around 25,000 per month. And that would be so difficult for me, because I had to firstly relocate from Bangalore to Delhi, have to pay all the rent and sustain all the expenses, and still get paid so less. So I felt, okay, this is something that I didn't want to do. And anyways, I was putting out content on Instagram via Psychoflakes, and a couple of them reached out to me and asked for a counseling session. I never really thought that an Instagram page could help me get my first client. So I thought I would start free therapy sessions, because somewhere even I was not that confident, and I didn't want to charge somebody without being confident about the service that I was giving. So I just made a poster and put it out, and we had around 20 people inquiring for therapy. And that's how I got my first client. So I was very nervous, because it was something that I'd never done, and the issues that was put forth by this person was a little bit tough and challenging. Still, I took the first session. I was very nervous, and I ended it in 20 minutes. I was feeling so bad, because we have learned so much, and still when you're there talking to the client, sometimes you just don't know what to do and you feel stuck. I took it up as a challenge. I asked the client if she would come for another session, and thankfully she agreed. I read up a lot. I did my research, listened to so many YouTube videos, and even took up certain courses and took my session with this client. And thankfully, that session went for 60 minutes, and I was able to make a difference in this person's life, because they came for next 8 more sessions, and it ended on a good note. So that's how I got my first client. And since there were 20 of them who had registered, so I took sessions for all of these 20, and somewhere I felt that I was making progress in the field that I had fallen in love with in the first place. So all of this was happening during the year 2020, 2021, and it was COVID. So everything was online, and somewhere I used to feel that, my personal and professional life, there was no balance. So I had this study room that became my work room, and even if I had to meet any of my clients, there were few who wanted in-person sessions, I didn't have this space. And I couldn't even market to people, because it was my home address and I couldn't share it with everybody. And I remember in 2022, I had, so my friend was getting married, and we had this bachelor party. We had booked a space, and right next to that space, there was an office space available for rent. That was when I realized that, yes, I wanted to move into an in-person space, have my own setup. That particular place didn't work out, because that was not an area in which we could have a clinic. So I started to search for a space wherein I could have my own clinic. So my friend was also looking for an office, because he had also started his company during the pandemic. And as we are searching, we found one amazing office in Jayanagar, 3rd block. And it was a perfect space to start my clinic. I didn't have the budget to rent out the ground floor of that particular space. So thankfully, there was a garage, and that garage was converted into my clinic. In fact, I was not really sure if this is the space I would want to be in. But after the entire transformation of that garage, it's one of the most coziest and my favorite place. So initially in 2022, as I opened my clinic, I was very excited and I thought that, people would just walk in, as most of us have some challenges and it would be better if we speak about it. But that was a bubble that I was living in, and it really hit, because in the first 3 months, we hardly had 6 to 7 clients coming in and total of 20 odd sessions. And that is pretty less because you have fixed costs. If it was an online setup, you won't have any fixed expenses like rent, because you're living in your house and most of the things is taken care for. And that was when it really hit me, as now it was venturing into a serious business and not just a passion project. And I had also hired counselors, so the worry was a lot. In 6 months of time frame, we had very few clientele coming in. So I thought that we have to do something about it. SEO, tying up with doctors were all these things that we tried, but still it wasn't enough. I had to do more. So I was taking counseling sessions, but at the same time, I wanted to start another wing, which was to provide courses to psychology students. When we are doing our masters, we are exposed to a lot of therapies. But when you are actually taking sessions, all of those things just flies out of your mind, because you really don't know how to use those technical knowledge into practical implementation. And anyways, I was taking up courses, but I realized that this is something that I need to focus a little bit more on as well. So I started to focus purely on psychology based courses to psychology students. We are taught CBT in our college days, and it's only CBT that a lot of us get exposure to. So I wanted to introduce modern therapies like acceptance and commitment therapy and DBT. So we started offering courses. And art therapy was something that I started off first, our flagship course, because sometimes people don't just want to speak. They would want to express it in multiple different ways. And art is one of the best ways to express without speaking. So that was our course that I started in Jan 2023, and seeing an overwhelming response to the number of students who joined was incredibly amazing. And it was not just people from the field of psychology, but other fields also started to join, and they started to realize the importance of therapy. Because of these courses, many people started referring us, and suddenly we saw a rise in our therapy sessions, because we were not just catering to one single age group, because our course was something that was joined by many people of different age groups, of different background, because of which our company was suddenly now known to doctors, teachers, architects, interior designers, engineers, IT professionals, finance professionals, and our clientele grew. So slowly we started to take in around 50 sessions. Then we started to take in 100 sessions. And then every day, all of us had at least 3 to 4 clients per day. And this was something that I saw in the entire 2023 year. Every month we could see a progress. Every month I could see a raise in the revenue that we made. And slowly, whatever confidence that I had when I started to come back. But somewhere, I was feeling too comfortable with what we were doing. And because of that, I felt a little stuck. I was getting clients, but still there was some sort of saturation and a sense of instability, because some months we used to get a lot of clients and some months you don't. And you're a business, you have your fixed expenses and you have to cater to them. And that used to cause a lot of worry to me. And I wanted to explore corporate tie-ups, do workshops, do events, so that somehow we could show our brand and show how mental health therapy is part and parcel of everyday life. And that's when in 2024 we decided to do something very different. And I cannot wait to share with you all that journey, because this is something that is really going to change the way in which we at Psychoflakes are going to take therapy, and it is something that is not just going to be focused on few people in Bangalore, but we want to cater to entire India and if possible the whole globe. If you want to know my journey of scaling up, do check out the next video. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, don't forget to share, subscribe and hit the like button.